Gotta be honest guys, I'd have more luck pinning down a Cobra than I would with the genres that Machine Girl covers within a single record, but I can certainly describe the feel of them with onomatopoeic noises, something along the lines of boom, skabadoo boop bap. The Ugly Art isn't the first shocking release from Machine Girl, or even the first one with teeth. In fact, I've had my soul punched in with a trillion uppercuts over the course of last year's album, with the title so long that it took me 17 vocal takes for me to pronounce it properly at this speed, to the point where I just stopped bothering and wrote this little bio as a replacement instead. It is also an album fronted by a cover artwork so overwhelming that it triggers my fight or flight response. Wolf Girl from 2014 is probably the most consistent project I've heard from Machine Girl, fronted by a cover artwork akin to the Alaskan bullworm from that one episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, except with rabies. It's a wild and ominous rave with an atmosphere akin to exploring a cave with unknown creepy crawlies all over the walls, which I like the sound of actually, it gets me on edge. The Ugly Art is a little bit cleaner than that, production wise, so no creepy crawlies for you, though its blasts of industrial inspired hardcore breaks are standard fare for Machine Girl. They are constantly exciting and exhilarating to listen to, so I have a lot of credit to give for being able to create something that screechy and harrowing while also being a solid set of danceable bangers. Yes, I do mean danceable, in the same way that you'd be able to manically flail your limbs around the place uncontrollably until you get kicked out of Impala. If I were to use a Hot Music Takes template, it would probably be along the lines of The Ugly Art is a hot chip album for Atari Teenage Riot fans. Just take away the embarrassing geekiness and replace it with fangs and a bloodlust for screaming profanities on the internet. It sure does have a unique aesthetic, but there was a point some way through this album where I was wondering, are we going to get anything new? Maybe I'm just desensitized to noisy rackets, but there was a point where the idea of being hammered in with so many unexpected sounds and samples was beginning to get a little bit tiresome. I would not be surprised if anyone else found excitement here. In fact, I'm more disappointed in myself for not finding this consistently exhilarating, because there is clearly a lot of creative effort pumped into this. Maybe it is just the lack of a discernible atmosphere and more focus put into being volatile and unpredictable. It is called The Ugly Art after all. Some of my favourite parts of this album are when Machine Girl takes some sudden swerves into house music, even a little ambient interlude to cleanse the palate, like a nice little sip of green tea, before being plunged back into the hellish sludge. But again, while these are refreshing ideas brought to the table, they're nothing exactly new in their respective fields. They're just appreciable from an artistic stance. I understand how they serve their purpose on the album, I just can't get much excitement out of hearing them. So The Ugly Art is by no means an unrecommendable album. In fact, I do recommend it to those who want something that is an absolute manic riot. I'm really just here to share my experiences, in which the verdict was a fairly wispy 5 out of 10. And for me, saying that to an album so hardcore feels strange. It's like standing nonchalantly at a bus stop shrugging your shoulders in the midst of a hefty hurricane.